Hello everyone, welcome to Mentor today. This is our second class on Core Java. In the last lecture, we had seen that object-oriented programming is a concept of programming languages, and we studied that Core Java comes under object-oriented programming. Now, what exactly is object-oriented programming that we are going to see today, and what are the concepts involved in object-oriented programming? So the first concept is object. The second is class. The third is abstraction. Fourth is encapsulation. Fifth is inheritance. And polymorphism. We are going to study each and every concept one by one, and let's see what does these concepts mean. First of all, we'll study object. Now, what is the meaning of an object? Object is real world entity. Now, what does that mean? Real world entity. A real world entity has some characteristics and behavior. That means it has some properties, and behavior means whatever tasks or functions it performs. This word function will be used in a programming language later also. So I'll give you an example to understand it. For example, this marker. This marker is an object. So our marker is an object. Now it is a real world entity, right? It exists in the real world. Now it has some characteristics, that is, it has some properties, and it performs some tasks. What are the characteristics? It is black in color. It is the property. Second, it has plastic body. It has a cap. So these three are its properties which it holds. The second is its behavior of the object. That is, what task it is performing. What is its function? So it writes. So its function is writing. So basically, an object is a real world entity which has characteristics, that is properties, and behavior. Behavior is the functions it performs. So basically, everything in Core Java can be classified into objects, and through objects only we are going to communicate in our classes later. Now, what is classes? That I'm going to tell you now. Class, the second OOPS concept. Class is blueprint or template that describes the properties common to all objects. Blueprint or template that describes the properties common to all objects. The objects we are talking about, we had discussed it before. So basically, what does that mean? It is a kind of prototype. Whenever you are creating or making something, a project also, we first create a prototype. So basically, class is a prototype. For example, I told you marker pen as my object. So basically, the prototype would be, you can say a pen is the class, and this marker pen is its object. So class is something as a whole, and object is taken as its instance. I'll write this word instance. Now, as object also has characteristics and behavior, as I told, class also holds characteristics or property. and this property is common to all the objects. Okay, so I'll differentiate class and object quickly. Class and object. So class was a prototype, so it is virtual, it's not real. But object, as we defined in the definition, it was real world entity, so it is real. Second thing, class does not occupy a space because it's prototype, so does not occupy any memory or space. But object is a real world entity, so it occupies separate memory. That is, each object occupies separate space or memory. And class is only one. It exists only one because prototype can be only one, but objects can be many. So there can be many objects. And for example, I had already given you example of a pen, or you can say a country. Pen, you can say example of an object relating to pen can be a marker pen. For a country, I can say India. So India is an object. Okay, so this was the basic concept of class and object. How it is used in program, that I'll tell you later after covering all of them. Now we'll move on to our next concept called abstraction. Abstraction. It is a concept in which we only discuss about whatever we have in the program, and we don't go into the background details. So I'll give you an example for abstraction. For example, you downloaded a game on your computer and it has lots of graphics. For example, you downloaded a very popular game and it has people running around, guns. Now these are graphics and you can only see that on your screen. You can't see the code involved behind this program. Whatever programming we have done, whatever coding we have done behind this game, we can't see that. So this is abstraction. We are not going into the background detail. We are just looking at the graphics. So this is abstraction. Now in our program also, I'll be telling that later, Java exhibits abstraction by using the words public and private. So whatever needs to be whatever background details we don't want to see, that will be placed in private. That is, it won't be visible to anyone outside the programmer, and whatever is placed inside public will be visible to everyone. So abstraction is done. We'll move on to the next concept of encapsulation. Encapsulation means wrapping up of data members and functions into a single unit. Now our program has two things. I've mentioned them. One is data members and one is functions. Data members and function, when are wrapped into a single code, data members and functions. I'll go into the details of what these are later when we'll code and when we'll write our program. So whenever we are putting our code, we have data members and functions wrapped into a single code. This concept, this phenomena is called as encapsulation. This is basically encapsulating into a single unit. So in real life example, our human body, it has various systems like respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, etc. And these all are not visible to us. These are all wrapped into a single unit. So this is how in real life the concept of encapsulation is exhibited. I'll move on to inheritance now. Inheritance. A very important concept in our programming language. First of all, I'll tell you the meaning of inheritance. In our real world also, you have your parent, your mom and dad, and then you are the child. So whatever properties your father has or your mother has, like for example, eye color, height, etc. All these come to you also. Your father might have a blue colored eye, and maybe you also have a blue colored eye. So how did you get that? You inherited these properties from your parent. So how Java exhibits inheritance, that I will tell you, but the concept remains the same. In Java, some program already exists, like program A and program B. I'll call it class A. What is class? I've already told you, but later we'll see that in detail. So a class has some features, some properties, and these properties I want that to be used in class B as well, because I have already written this class and it has some properties. I can directly use these properties in class B, and this concept is called inheritance, and this is exhibited through the keyword extends. I'll give the example later. So basically, when you are inheriting some properties of an already existing class to a new class, then that is called inheritance. So suppose this is class X, this is class Y, and it has some properties that I'm going to use in class Y. So this class X becomes our parent class, or you can call it base class, and or superclass, and this class which I'm going to use, which will inherit the properties of X, that is child class or subclass. It's also called derived class. This is a very important concept in Java, because for class Y, we are using already existing properties of X, and we don't have to write new properties. We don't have to write the properties we are going to have in X again in Y. So we are reusing already available properties. So it's a very good concept. We'll see it later in our program. The last concept is polymorphism. The word polymorphism itself defines what does it mean. It can be broken into poly and morphism. Poly means many and morphism means forms. So polymorphism means many forms. So a code in Java or a function in Java can exhibit many forms. For example, I'll make a function, suppose area, in Java, and this area function can be used to calculate the area of a square as well as rectangle. We know the calculation of area of square and rectangle have different formula. So the area of a square is side square. I'm mentioning side, I'm representing side as A. So A square, and area of a rectangle is length into breadth. The formula is different, but the result is ultimately same, that is area. So the function area itself can be used in two ways. The name remains the same, but the parameters I'm going to send for square will be A, and for area of rectangle I'm going to send length and breadth as the parameters, but the output will be area itself. So basically area is used in two forms, more than one form, many forms, that is two forms. So this way our program also exhibits polymorphism. So these were the basic concepts of OOPS, that is object oriented programming. We'll see other things later in our classes, and so I would like you all to stay tuned in my lectures, and we'll have very interactive sections later. You can comment on whatever questions you have regarding whatever lectures we have been through and whatever you expect. So kindly like, share, comment and stay tuned. Welcome to our class to mentor today, and we'll see you later. Thank you.